Lauren Astley's life was tragically cut short in a shocking act committed by someone she once trusted deeply. Late one night, Malcolm Astley received a devastating call. His daughter's car had been discovered in a parking lot near the city beach. Without hesitation, he rushed to the scene, clinging to the desperate hope that he might still be able to save her if she were in trouble. With a torch in hand, he walked along the shoreline, scanning the dark waves for any sign of her, but she was nowhere to be found. In school, many had admired the pair. Nathaniel Fujita, the tall and serious athlete, and Lauren Astley, the petite, spirited young woman. They had known each other for years, but it wasn't until their senior year of high school that they began dating. What started as first love, filled with kisses and shared dreams, would last for 3 years. What happened next? What could have driven them apart? And why was the truth so hard for people to accept? Let's step into today's case. Lauren was born on April 1st, 1993, in Boston, Massachusetts, to Mary and Malcolm Astley. Both of her parents were teachers, and she was truly the center of their world. From an early age, they instilled in her the importance of honesty and integrity, hoping she would grow into a kind and principled young woman. In 2006, Mary and Malcolm divorced, sharing custody of Lauren. Despite the separation, they remained united in their love and support for their daughter. It's remarkable to think she was only 18. Her life was already filled with energy, purpose, and achievement. Lauren was always involved in something. She sang in a music group, played tennis and soccer, performed in the church choir, joined the Youth Symphony Orchestra, worked as a camp counselor, and even took on a lead role in Annie at the local art center. Nicole's schedule was always packed. She seemed to have no free time because she was constantly involved in something. Though she stood at just 4 feet 11 inches, her vibrant personality and distinct charm made her unforgettable. Her greatest passion in the arts was performing, and with her strong, beautiful voice, she sang at nearly every school and community event. Landing the role of lead singer in her high school's a cappella group was a moment of pure joy for her. Outside of music, Lauren devoted her time to organizing events and participating in a wide range of charitable activities. Helping others, whether they were family, friends, or complete strangers, was at the heart of her life. Her classmates admired her for her sincerity, openness, and genuine spirit. People always knew they could turn to Lauren when they had a problem, and whenever she was asked for help, she gave it her all. At just 12 years old, she traveled to New Orleans to assist those affected by Hurricane Katrina. She would return twice more with friends to help flood victims, proving that even at a young age, she consistently put the needs of others before her own. These selfless acts spoke volumes about her character and determination. Her warmth and inner light touched everyone she encountered: parents, friends, teachers, and even strangers. At Wayland High School, Lauren was recognized not only for her dedication in the classroom, but also for her active involvement in school life. She participated in sports, concerts, competitions, and community service, leaving a lasting impression wherever she went. During high school, Lauren truly came into her own, and some friends even considered her a trendsetter. Her energy and vibrant personality made many people want to be like her. Around this time, she began dating Nathaniel Fujita, her first serious relationship. Nathan, who also attended Wayland High School, had known Lauren since childhood. He was the star player on the school's football team, known for his speed, height, and athletic skill. Nathan was one of the most popular students, with girls cheering for him at every game, but his heart belonged only to the cheerful, lively Lauren Astley. He was the only son of Beth and Tom Fujita. Tom, a talented and well-known guitarist, also taught at Boston's Berklee College of Music. His creative pursuits and musical achievements made him stand out in the community. In 2010, Lauren even interviewed Tom Fujita for a school project, which was later uploaded to YouTube. Because of her relationship with Nathaniel, she became a welcomed and familiar presence in Beth and Tom's household, visiting often. Their parents also grew acquainted, keeping in touch regularly. For the first 2 years, things between Nathan and Lauren were smooth. They spent time together playing sports, hanging out, and enjoying the carefree days of youth. Many people thought they were a perfect match, but over time, cracks began to show. Disagreements started creeping in, and their once steady relationship became a turbulent ride. They fell into a pattern of arguing, breaking up, and reconciling, only to repeat the cycle again. One day, they could be deeply in love, and the next, irritated by everything the other did. Relationships like this aren't uncommon, even among adults. Nathaniel often drew a lot of attention from other girls, yet he was still possessive and jealous of Lauren. At times, he felt she gave more of herself to others than to him. In her senior year, Lauren began thinking seriously about her future, where she wanted to go in life and which college she would attend. It was during this period that she realized Nathan no longer fit into the life she envisioned. She had grown tired of the constant emotional strain their relationship caused and began considering ending it for good. Senior year is often a turning point, a final step toward adulthood. At 18, the world feels wide open, filled with opportunities to achieve great things, build a career, meet new people, and embrace exciting experiences. For Lauren, the next big step was getting into college, and she was eager to take it. Lauren applied to Elon University in North Carolina, while Nathaniel chose Trinity College in Connecticut, where he had been invited to play football, a dream he'd carried since childhood. Lauren's friends were aware of the troubles in her relationship and wanted to help. Together, they created a list of reasons she should end things with Nathan. His quick temper, extreme jealousy, aggressive behavior, and, at times, disrespect toward his own mother. After reflecting on it all, Lauren decided to end their high school romance. On her birthday in April 2011, she broke up with Nathan, a day she considered one of the best in her life. The timing made sense. With both of them heading to different colleges in the fall, it was the natural point to move on and live separate lives. But for Nathaniel, the breakup felt entirely different. He saw it not as a fresh start, but as a devastating loss. The college offer Nathaniel had once dreamed of no longer mattered to him. All he could focus on was his relationship with Lauren Astley. Once an energetic and motivated young man, constantly training and staying active, he gradually withdrew into himself, spending most of his days on the couch, looking distant and depressed. He stopped socializing, avoided his friends entirely, and abandoned his usual routines. During this time, he began drinking heavily and smoking marijuana daily. Even though Lauren had ended their relationship months earlier, she still worried about him. She didn't want to see someone she had once been so close to in pain. On several occasions, she asked her friends whether she should reach out and try to help him. Every time, they advised her against it, warning her not to give him any reason to believe their relationship might be rekindled. In the summer of 2011, after graduating high school, Lauren was eager to enjoy her final months at home surrounded by family and friends. To celebrate the start of this new chapter, her friends organized a big party. Under a large tent, about 150 students and recent graduates, Lauren's ex-boyfriend Nathan among them, danced, laughed, and enjoyed the night. While Lauren was chatting with her friends, Nathan, already heavily intoxicated, approached her in an attempt to reconcile. Lauren, however, told him firmly to leave her alone. In her mind, everything had already been discussed, and there was no reason to go over the breakup again. They had talked it through many times, and she was ready to move forward. Besides, she knew that in his drunken state, Nathan wouldn't respond meaningfully to anything she said. But Nathan couldn't bear the thought of her being with someone else. Refusing to accept her rejection, he continued to pester and pressure her. At one point, Lauren broke down in tears, confiding in a friend that Nathan simply wouldn't leave her alone. He trailed her throughout the night, determined to stop her from dancing with anyone else. With each passing minute, his anger grew, fueled by alcohol. When Lauren once again refused to speak with him, Nathan stormed up and struck one of the tent poles with all his strength, causing the entire structure to collapse. The tent was quickly lifted and put back in place, but by then, the mood had shifted entirely. Now, it wasn't just Lauren. Everyone at the party was telling Nathan to leave. The celebration was effectively ruined. Later that night, Lauren told her mother about Nathan's behavior, explaining how he refused to let her go. He was furious that she had ended their relationship, angry that she wouldn't speak to him, and bitter over the fact that she seemed happy without him. For a while, things seemed to settle down. Lauren decided to take a job at a clothing store in the mall to earn some money before starting college. On July 3rd, 2011, she arrived for her shift at 10 a.m. Security cameras recorded her entering the mall at 9:45 a.m. and riding the escalator up. At 6:45 p.m., her shift ended, and she was seen leaving the building while talking on the phone. Tragically, this would be the last time anyone saw her alive. She had planned to meet friends for a walk after work, but she never showed up. Her friends immediately grew concerned. This was unlike Lauren. If something came up and she couldn't make it, she would always find a way to let them know. Her father, Malcolm, was also worried. He knew she had planned to go home after work, change clothes, and then meet her friends, but she never made it home, breaking from what should have been her normal routine. Her father sensed immediately that something was wrong and didn't waste any time. He called the police right away to report her missing. News of Lauren Astley's disappearance spread quickly throughout the town, leaving friends and acquaintances deeply concerned. No one had seen her since she left the mall. In Lauren's case, authorities began searching immediately. Typically, police wait a certain amount of time before launching a missing person investigation, but here, everything moved quickly. Friends and family didn't just wait for her to return. They actively sought help. As soon as Malcolm contacted the authorities, the search began. That same night, police discovered Lauren's red Jeep parked at Waylandtown Beach with its windows down. It was a crucial discovery. Inside were her bag and laptop, but Lauren herself was nowhere to be found. There were no clues about where Lauren went after leaving her car at the city beach with its windows rolled down. The moment Malcolm heard about the discovery, he rushed there, running straight from the vehicle to the water as if he still had a chance to save her. With a torch in hand, he searched the shoreline, but she was nowhere to be found. Lauren's friends, terrified after hearing about the red Jeep, spent the night at the beach, hoping she would appear. They sat by the shore, doing nothing but waiting and wondering where she could have gone. At that moment, none of them even considered the possibility that she had been harmed. Police began questioning Lauren's close friends and family, trying to determine whether anyone might want to hurt her or take her against her will. Initially, no one could think of a single person. However, when officers pressed further, they learned she had recently broken up with her boyfriend. Despite this, all of Lauren's friends insisted Nathan couldn't hurt her. He could be moody and upset about the breakup, but they didn't see him as dangerous. The police understood that jealousy and a recent breakup could often be powerful motives for someone to do something harmful. They already knew about Nathaniel Fujita, and that same evening, as part of their inquiries, they went to his home. There, Nathan and his mother, Beth, spoke with the officers. He claimed he had been home the entire time, which gave him an alibi, though not a particularly strong one. Nathan told them that he had, in fact, seen Lauren that day. According to him, she stopped by for about 5 minutes but never got out of her car. They had a brief, awkward conversation, after which she left, and he said he hadn't seen her since. On the surface, his story seemed plausible. The officers were aware, however, that the breakup had deeply affected him. He had withdrawn, grown depressed, and stopped going out altogether. Beth, deeply concerned for her son, took Nathan to see a therapist, but it brought no real improvement. Desperate to help him cope with the breakup, she even went to the mall where Lauren worked, without telling Nathan, hoping to find some way to reach out. She also asked her ex-boyfriend to speak with Nathan, thinking it might help him process his emotions and begin to heal. The following morning, just before sunrise, a cyclist riding along a road near the highway made a grim discovery. Passing a marshy area, she noticed something floating in the dark water. Curious and alarmed, she stopped and moved closer, only to realize it was the body of a young woman. It was Lauren Astley, found just 5 miles from town. The night before, her friends had gathered on the beach near her abandoned red Jeep, still trying to piece together where she could have gone. They had no answers, only fear. The students could do nothing but sit there, unsure of what to do, what to think, or even how to feel. It was almost impossible to believe that the same girl they had laughed and shared moments with just the day before could now be gone. Her body was found about 30 feet from the road, floating in the water. Once it was brought to shore, the cause of death became immediately apparent. When a state police detective pulled back her shirt collar, he discovered a deep, fatal wound to her neck. 18-year-old Lauren Astley had suffered a severe throat slash, and an elastic cord was tangled in her hair. Her body was quickly sent to the medical examiner's office. All the while, Malcolm Astley clung to a desperate hope that it wouldn't be his daughter. But that hope vanished when he had to perform the heartbreaking task of identifying the body of his only child, something no parent should ever endure. Lauren had just turned 18. She was vibrant, musically gifted, and standing at the threshold of a promising future. Malcolm had to present proper identification, and the moment he saw her, he knew it was Lauren. The pain was unbearable, yet he still had to break the news to Lauren's mother, his ex-wife. The devastating news quickly spread throughout the town. Friends who once saw Lauren and Nathan as a happy couple spoke with disbelief, insisting that Nathan could never have done something like this to the woman he loved. Many found it hard to believe the situation was real, but the police suspected otherwise. After speaking with Nathan's family, they learned how deeply the breakup had affected him. He was no longer the cheerful football player admired by so many. Heartbroken, Nathan had grown bitter and withdrawn. The sport he once dreamed of playing since childhood, American football, no longer held his interest. Beth told police that she had approached Lauren in hopes of speaking to her son and cheering him up by being a friend. It's possible Beth didn't know the full details of her son's relationship with his girlfriend, which might explain her actions. She likely had no idea how that encounter would end. Lauren, however, had been uneasy about her ex-boyfriend for some time, having noticed changes in his behavior. Out of kindness, she decided to meet with Nathan to see if she could help him move past his sadness. She had no intention of rekindling their relationship, but felt a sense of obligation to be there for him during a difficult time. Security cameras at the mall captured Lauren speaking on her phone as she left work. Her phone records confirmed she was talking to Nathan. She planned to stop by his place for just 5 minutes before going home to change clothes and then meet her friends. She hadn't told anyone about her plans that day. Nathan's parents weren't home, and when she arrived at his house, she sent him a single-word text. Here. That was her way of letting him know she was nearby. It ended up being the last message Lauren ever sent, delivered on July 3rd at 7:05 p.m. The last place she was seen alive was Nathan's house, which gave police their first clear lead. On July 4th, officers returned to speak with Nathan, but he was gone, and his parents claimed they had no idea where he was. Still, the investigation pressed forward. Authorities needed concrete evidence to support their suspicion that Nathan was involved in Lauren's disappearance. They quickly secured a warrant to search his home, starting in the garage. What they found immediately suggested something horrific had occurred. Alongside the cord that had been around Lauren's neck, officers discovered multiple traces of blood. On the garage floor, on the doorknob, in the kitchen sink, and in the bathroom sink. It appeared that someone had attempted to clean the surfaces. In the basement, investigators discovered a black sports bag containing a pair of trainers completely caked in mud. In the attic, accessible by a ladder from Nathan's bedroom, they found another pair of shoes, along with blood-stained boots and clothing. At first glance, the mud on the trainers seemed identical to the kind found near the swamp where Lauren's body was discovered. This required immediate lab analysis. The results left no doubt. Nathan's clothes and boots carried Lauren's blood, and the mud was indeed from that same marshy area. Following these findings, Nathan Fujita was officially placed on the wanted list. He was located at his cousin's home in a nearby town just a few hours later. Shortly after midnight on July 4th, 2011, the 18-year-old football player was taken into custody and charged with the murder of his ex-girlfriend. When police arrested Nathan Fujita at his aunt's house without warning, he remained silent and unresponsive during questioning. This detached demeanor continued for several months, right up until the start of his trial. Whether it was out of fear of saying too much or simply an inability to explain his actions, Nathan offered no insight. On August 23, 2011, Nathan appeared in court for a preliminary hearing. When asked for his plea, he spoke so softly it was barely audible, stating he was not guilty. The prosecutor quickly suspected that his defense team was preparing an insanity-based strategy. Nathan faced charges of first-degree murder, as well as assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. During the meeting, more details emerged about the night Lauren Astley was killed. It was revealed that she had additional injuries inflicted before her death. The night before the crime, Nathan had called his cousin and invited her to hang out. When she declined, saying she had other plans, Nathan became angry and hung up. The next day, after learning of Lauren's death, the cousin called Nathan to see if he was aware of what had happened to his ex-girlfriend. His response was chilling. He said the murder weapon would never be found. Nathan also told his cousin that he had driven Lauren's red Jeep to the City Beach parking lot, explaining that he needed a break and wanted to spend time with her. By the end of the meeting, the prosecutor requested that Nathan be held without bail, and the court agreed. About a month before the trial, another hearing on pretrial motions took place, revealing disturbing and significant new information about the suspect. In 2009, Lauren and Nathan were in one of their on-again, off-again phases. Lauren continued living her life and, one night, attended a dance with friends. Among the attendees was a young man who had previously shown interest in her. After her recent breakup with Nathan, Lauren decided to give a new relationship a chance. The two danced together and even shared a kiss. Suddenly, Nathan appeared, forcefully shoving the young man and threatening to slit his throat if he ever approached Lauren again. Over time, the incident at the dance faded into the background. Lauren's friends and family never noticed any clear signs of abuse in the relationship. However, they knew Nathan could be possessive and jealous, with his temper worsening when he drank. This confrontation, which occurred 2 years before the crime, revealed the extent of Nathan's anger and jealousy toward anyone who came near Lauren. When investigators found the wounds on Lauren's body, her boyfriend's earlier comments took on a darker meaning, hinting subtly that Nathan might have been the killer. It also became clear during the hearing that Nathan planned to rely on a silence defense. While this wouldn't clear him of the charges, it could significantly reduce his punishment. By the time Nathan's trial began on February 13, 2013, 18 months had passed since Lauren Astley's death. From the outset, the defense claimed Nathan was legally insane, holding to this narrative throughout the 3-week trial. Early in his statement, Nathan's lawyer openly admitted that Nathan had killed Lauren, but argued that the real questions were how and why. The defense insisted Nathan hadn't stalked Lauren after her high school graduation. He hadn't driven by her home, called her, or sent her texts. According to them, he had withdrawn completely, avoiding people and places altogether. Friends of the girls who were present confirmed that Nathan had withdrawn from everyone, stopped attending training sessions, and avoided conversations. His friends and former teachers grew concerned because his behavior had drastically changed within just 2 months. Ultimately, the lawyer stated that Nathan was suffering from a severe mental illness, indicating that something was seriously wrong with him. Beth, his mother, convinced him to visit a psychiatrist who diagnosed him with severe clinical depression. This wasn't just heartbreak over a breakup, it was a genuine mental disorder. According to the defense, the psychiatrist recommended medication and therapy, but Nathan refused both. He may have been struggling with mental health issues brought on by his breakup with Lauren Astley and the repeated head injuries he sustained while playing high school football. The end of their relationship could have triggered an episode. Lauren feared she might somehow be responsible for her ex-boyfriend's dangerous condition and worried he might seriously harm himself. Out of concern for Nathan, Lauren went to the Fujita home on the evening of July 3rd, 2011. During that time, Nathan experienced a brief manic episode, leaving him unable to fully understand or control his actions. They went into the garage to talk, but then Nathan suddenly grabbed an elastic cord, wrapped it around Lauren's neck, and began choking her. He had no real awareness of what he was doing. His body was acting, but his mind was disconnected from reality. He felt no emotion toward the act itself. Nathan was still in a disturbed state of mind when he repeatedly slashed Lauren's throat. According to the defense team, his actions were the result of insanity, and their entire case rested on that claim. When it was the prosecution's turn, they argued the exact opposite, that Nathan Fujita had intentionally murdered his ex-girlfriend, Lauren Astley, because he couldn't cope with the breakup. The prosecution maintained that this wasn't a crime of sudden rage, but a calculated act of revenge. On the day of the murder, Nathan attempted to reach Lauren at her workplace, calling her multiple times. In fact, he had already called her cell phone 3 times before that. One of those calls was recorded as she was leaving the shopping center after work. The prosecutor claimed that Nathan coerced Lauren into coming to his house, fully aware that his parents would not be home. He then took her into his garage, where the assault occurred. The autopsy revealed that Lauren had sustained more injuries than just strangulation and a cut to her throat. There were also clear defensive wounds, indicating she had fought back. After killing her, Nathan removed his blood-stained boots, switched to tennis shoes, and walked over 4 miles to the town beach parking lot, where he abandoned his red Jeep. Investigators later found the car keys after he had thrown them into a storm drain. Nathan then returned home on foot, placed Lauren in his vehicle, and drove to a wetland. There, he waded 33 feet through thick muck, seemingly believing she would sink to the bottom. But he was wrong. Nathan showed no remorse for his actions. That night, he was spotted returning home completely naked, driving with the windows down and music blasting. Afterward, the young man tidied up the crime scene and concealed the evidence. He hid his wet, blood-stained shoes and clothing, cleaned the blood from the garage, and quietly waited for his parents to return. Prosecutors argued that this was not a sudden bout of insanity, as the defense claimed, but rather a deliberate and premeditated attack. A forensic doctor, called as a defense witness, testified that based on professional research, Nathan was incapable of understanding that his actions were wrong. According to the doctor, this inability was due to severe depression, repeated head injuries from football, and daily drug and alcohol use. Since there had been no history of abuse between Lauren and Nathan, and the young man had never reported anything to the police, the defense emphasized that this was a one-time lapse and that Nathan could not have committed the crime while mentally sound. These arguments directly opposed the prosecution's narrative. A forensic doctor was also called in to evaluate the defendant's mental state. This doctor testified that Nathan was fully sane when he killed Lauren. The amount of planning and effort he put into the crime showed that his actions were deliberate and that he understood the consequences. The hearing was emotionally difficult, and by the trial's end, Lauren Astley's mother sat in silent grief. The state medical examiner told the court that Lauren likely remained alive for several minutes, bleeding out after Nathan Fujita strangled her with a cord and then slit her throat. At 20 years old, Nathan hunched forward and wept, appearing to only then grasp the severity of what he had done once he realized he would face punishment for taking a life. Nathan's parents were devastated and deeply shaken that their son was capable of committing such an act. They had always shown great care and love for their son, and they cared for his girlfriend, Lauren, as if she were their own daughter. This made them even more concerned for the Astley family, who had lost their only child because of Nathan. Both families had once shared a close, warm relationship, but after the tragedy, they were left to face the devastating aftermath. The parents on both sides were deeply heartbroken. On March 7, 2013, Nathan was found guilty on all charges. The jury deliberated for a full day before reaching their decision, and justice was finally served for the Astley family and the prosecution. Yet, what comfort could it bring when their only child was gone forever? As the sentence was read, Malcolm, Lauren's father, crossed the hall and embraced Nathan's parents. He understood that both families had lost something precious beyond measure. His gesture was a testament to his strength of character. Nathan Fujita was sentenced to life in prison. In Massachusetts, anyone convicted of first-degree murder is given a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Lauren's parents believed her death could have been prevented. After losing her, they dedicated their lives to educating teens about the dangers of relationship and breakup violence. Malcolm and Mary went on to establish the Lauren Astley Memorial Foundation, a nonprofit that promotes art, community involvement, and healthy teen relationships, causes that were close to Lauren's heart. In January 2024, The Massachusetts Supreme Court overturned a law that required anyone under 20 at the time of their crime to serve life without parole. Lauren's parents now fear that this change could allow Nathan Fujita to be released. They struggle with the thought, believing that the man who killed their 18-year-old daughter should remain behind bars for life. If you found this case fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We post crime case videos every night. Until next time, stay sharp, stay vigilant.